Since I was in high school, I have really enjoyed crime dramas on TV. You know, from Bones and Castle to NCIS and, yeah, some Law and Order at times. But if I'm being honest, whodunits, I enjoyed them, but they weren't something that I rushed out to see. Maybe it was because I don't have the AMC movie pass basically to go see as many movies as I want for one price, or before I worked at the movie theater. But since then, I have really grown to enjoy whodunit films, and I like the mystery. And I've even grown since college to like more noir type films. Well, I had no idea about this movie called Marlowe until a month or two maybe ago, where I first saw a trailer for it in front of one of the movies I saw. And it looked good. It looked entertaining. It looked fun. And it looked like a part for Liam Neeson that he hasn't done in a while. I mean, it just seems like recently, the past couple of years, all his roles have been similar. But this one looked good. So I decided, I like whodunits. I like the idea of noir. I mean, I like the Spider-Man noir comics, and I liked that character in Into the Spider-Verse. So I thought, this movie looks entertaining, looks good. Looks like it'll be a fun mystery, suspense, and maybe there's a thriller, and trying to figure it out as you go along. And I loved Knives Out when it came out. I didn't see the new one. Not that that really has anything to do with it, but if this movie can deliver that type of intrigue, that type of mystery, but in a much more noir type setting or feeling, I'm going to be really happy. Not to mention, my wife does want to see this movie, and if it's really, really good, then I can highly recommend that she goes see it with me, or that we see it again, because I always do like watching a movie again if it's good. So, without further ado, I'm going to go inside here and check out Liam Neeson's newest film noir film, Marlowe. I'll let you know what I think when I get out. I'll see you then. So I just got out of seeing Marlowe, and all I can say right away is I think my wife will like this movie. This is definitely up her alley, the type of crime solving or film noir type film that she likes. And I'm definitely very, very happy that I'm going to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania tomorrow night, because at least I know that movie I'm going to really like. Or at least I expect to. Yeah, some people might say, but Peter, you like every single Marvel movie that comes out. Okay, so maybe I generally do, but if you've been around my channel long enough, or you see the title of my channel, Fandom University, I like that stuff. I really like that stuff. So of course, that movie I'm going to probably like in some way. It's not, in my opinion, they're going to have to do a lot probably to think. But this isn't about Ant-Man. This is about Marlowe. And the reason I even brought Ant-Man up is because this was another movie for me. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It had some things I was expecting and I wanted, and it didn't have other things. So I feel like this is probably more of a modern film noir type movie. And what I mean by that is it's trying to be its own thing, but it's also trying to have the aesthetic, the feel of one of those classic black and white noir films. Now, it does have some things. It does have some feels of being a old noir film. I mean, the mystery alone, the look of it, the sound of it, yeah, that all definitely has a noir look and feel to it. But then there's other things about it that either we just come to think or associate with film noir, or it actually had it. And this film just doesn't have that. right off the bat, the one thing this film does not have, and I don't really consider this a spoiler, is it doesn't have the classic, the dame walked in my office. Clearly there was something wrong with her. She smelled a smoke, and etc., etc. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have the detective doing voiceover for us, telling the audience what's going on and what's going on in his head. It doesn't do that. And that is something that kind of has become idealized, or what people expect when they hear the title noir for a film. Now, it also feels like it doesn't really have, I don't know. I admit I haven't watched a lot of real, I'll call it real film noir, but it always felt like the mystery was more engaging, or there was more edge of your seat type stuff, maybe even a little bit more action. And this film just doesn't have that. Now, I'm going to say probably about 15, 20 minutes maybe before the end of the film, it got good. And I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. Why didn't we have more of this type of stuff in the film? Because that's what the trailer led me to believe, that it was going to be a, oh, deep, deep mystery. Very puzzling. There's going to be backstabbing. And there's going to be sex and violence. And everybody's after this thing. And I will say, right in my head, it's like they want you to think there's a MacGuffin, based on that trailer. And I mean, it's kind of funny. They bring it up. They don't bring up that there's no MacGuffin, but they bring up classic type MacGuffins from other films. And I like the fact that I know most of them. Actually, I think I knew all of them. But like I said, there's a lot of things it doesn't have that's classic film noir, really. But at the same time, it does have, like I also said, that feel of a classic noir movie, with just the way it looks, the way it's shot, the soundtrack, the way people speak, interactions between characters. So it really is a mixed bag, in my opinion, when it comes to, is this a true noir film? I'd have to say no. But who knows? This might be, like I said, a modern type noir film. But for me, I have a really hard time now calling it film noir. But with that being said, let's talk about the performances. Liam Neeson, he was great. I mean, he's always generally good in his movies. But what I really liked in this movie was that it was so different than the roles we've seen him in a lot recently. Just like I said in my intro, this felt different. This wasn't Taken. This wasn't... I can't remember, I'll be honest, I can't remember all the other movies that he's been in that feel like Taken, because that seemed to be the type of movie or the type of character he would be playing. And actually, his character kind of goes against what we're used to seeing. In the sense that, we expect a rough and tough, I'm going to beat you down type of guy. And there's certainly aspects of that, but it's not as strong as you might expect it to be. The other cast, they're fine. But, I mean, while they did get some outstanding or some good name actors, like, for example, they got Alan Cumming, who I know I saw him in the trailer, but I didn't realize it was him. I like seeing him in something again. And I believe it was Danny Hudson. I should probably have looked that up. So, like, they had a good general ensemble, but I really didn't care about any of the characters. I really didn't. From the girl who comes in to hire Marlowe at the very beginning, I didn't really care about her. I really didn't. The mother, I know you're supposed to hate, but again, I really didn't have any emotion about her. It really was Liam Neeson's film, which makes sense because it's called Marlowe. So, yeah, I mean, the performances were fine. For the most part, they got done what they were supposed to do, but I felt no real connection to them. And they told the story they needed to tell. They were there for the reasons they were there. The story itself, yeah, it's interesting. I didn't realize that it was actually based on a book before I saw it, but I I wanted more. I wanted more from it. I wanted to feel like I really was getting invested in the mystery. And I wasn't. Again, I didn't really feel like I was invested with these characters in this mystery. Like I needed to know what the answer was. I was more like, okay, can you give me something else? Can you give me more facts to work with? Can you do something to make me care about this mystery about who this person is? And I just didn't. I did like how the film started, though, I will say. It started real quick. Well, after the however many minutes of previews, that was not quick. But it jumped right into it. I mean, right away, you had this scene of Marlowe in his house. Which, now that I think about it, why? It literally makes no sense the more I think about it. It did not need to be there. So, I mean, we don't get any backstory for Marlowe right off the bat. We don't get any history with any of the characters. It just jumps right into the client, the main focus of the film, coming in and giving him the case. That's what happens. I mean, we do get background of these characters through some exposition, but I think that's another reason why I couldn't really get behind these characters, or even, I guess, really the performances, was because I didn't really know them. Maybe when the old noir films came out, you didn't need, or an audience didn't need as much backstory or need as much information about characters. You could get it along the way. What you do, you find things out about Marlowe, and you find out about these other characters' past, but it's not enough. Even just 10 minutes at the beginning, cut out the house scene at the very beginning, and give us a little bit of backstory about Marlowe. At the very least. I mean, that would have been, I think that would have been ideal to have the classic voiceover of our detective. And sure, you don't necessarily have to have him telling about the lady coming in or his new client coming in. You can have him just talk about his life and about where he's been. And, we could get snippets of it. You don't need to be pulling over a scene or just the city as you hear the voiceover. You could actually see snippets or even photographs. That would have been enough. But we really didn't get much of that at all in the film. Like I said, the music and the soundtrack was good. The look of the film was really good. But it didn't really do enough to hold my attention. I mean, I did find myself doing this a lot during the movie, or this a lot during the movie. Just being like, okay, I'm here, I'm watching this movie, and I'm not hating it, but I want more. It just wasn't fully my cup of tea. Now, maybe for the other people that were there, it could have been great. But I was expecting more from it. I was expecting a much more, I guess, classic noir type film with the things that I mentioned and weren't there. More build up with the things I mentioned, especially when it came to characters, or situations. You know, I wanted stuff built up. I wanted to care about what was going on. And I will admit, I definitely thought there was going to be a lot more action than there was. And that's not to say that I don't like a good mystery. I do love a good mystery. And you don't have to have action to have a good mystery. But you have to have a reason for the audience to care. You have to have a reason that we want to go on this journey with this private eye. And for me, this movie didn't have it. Now, it's not a movie that I can't sit through again. Yeah, I could watch it again. I'm not going to hate myself. I mean, it's under 2 hours, so that is a good thing right there. But yeah, it just really wasn't for me. And no spoilers at all in this video, but I will say the final reveal was very lacking. I mean, I'm listening to it, I'm watching it, and I mean, I get that the pieces were there, but I'm like, did you miss something? I mean, knowing now that it's a book or a play or something, I'm like, did you cut moments out that you should have kept? Because this, how was I really expected to get this from that? Because it was never even on my radar that was what this movie or this case was about. Who knows? That might be the whole point. That might be a great thing for people. That might be what they want. But I feel like if you can't even get part of the mystery, or at least try to figure out where it's going, then you're really losing the audience, or you're losing the reason why people go to see whodunits or mysteries in the first place. Because I don't want to figure the mystery out. If I do, that's great. But it's also not great at the same point, because then maybe it was too obvious. Unless I'm just really, really smart and a real good detective. Which I'm pretty sure I'm not. But you gotta at least get people interested in the mystery, so they're trying to solve it. And they're looking at the clues you're presenting. And then when it's finally revealed, they're like, well, I knew that was important. I knew that was important. But I didn't get here. That's the type of mystery that, at least for me, I like. You know, where I can be like, I know that thing is important. And I know that person's important. I'm pretty sure they're lying about something. But I just can't put the pieces together. So yeah, where would I rank Marlowe? I think, yeah, I'd put this right in the middle. It's a citizen, like the last two films I've seen. They're not bad movies, but they're not great movies. They're movies that, okay, I saw. Am I glad I saw them? I guess. I wanted to see them. But they just didn't excite me, or I didn't love them the way I hoped I would. So, what do you think? By the time you've seen this review, have you seen Marlowe? Did you even know this was a movie? If so, comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Am I way off base and this was actually really good and this was more film noir than I know? Because like I said, I'm not a film noir study person. I haven't watched a lot of film noir. I go by what the general audience knows, to be honest. Or am I right and this movie was not what you were expecting and it's not really film noir? If you haven't seen it, does this change your mind about seeing it at all? Or you're like, phew, glad he saw it because now I don't have to waste my time or my money. Whatever your thoughts, don't forget to comment down below and click that like button. And if you want more content like this, though, yeah, there's a lot more superhero stuff on the way. Yeah, trust me. Then click that subscribe button. I will say, this year I am hoping to reach 100 subscribers. I know to some that's like nothing. But I'd really like to reach 100 by the end of the year. That's the goal. If I do, I haven't thought of anything yet, but maybe I'll do something special. Who knows? But if you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Just click that subscribe button. It's not that hard. It's free. And yeah, this isn't what you wanted to hear, but like I said, what did you think of Marlowe? Or what were you hoping for from Marlowe based on the trailer? So, until our next unedited review, and hopefully by then I can streamline things a little bit better, remember, read what you love, enjoy what you love, and let's all work for a better fandom. I'll see you next time.